Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Nate.
I'm Michael.
And we are the Olympic Ultras. Thank you very much for tuning back into the Olympic Ultras podcast. Today, we are looking back at the girls' Moreton City Excelsior game, the boys' Gold Coast United and Sunshine Coast Wanderers game, before we cast an eye forward to Kappa in the Kappa Series semi-final of the women's and Brisbane City this weekend. We've also got to talk about the Australia Cup draw that happened Wednesday night.
Certainly will.
And I'm sure we'll find something else to talk about.
No doubt.
Yeah, we'll have something to ramble about.
For sure. That too, yeah.
Anyway, don't forget you can tune in to our podcast or just follow our journey anywhere on Instagram and YouTube. That's Olympic FC_Ultras. And you can find it on Spotify at Olympic Ultras Podcast. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Cool. So in the first half, we're looking back at the women's game 8-0 over Moreton City Excelsior in the FQPL1. Debut goal for Jess Curran as well.
Yep, really got in the second half.
Yes.
But that was good. It was good to get her off the mark.
It is good to get her off the mark, especially when you're coming in as a new striker into a new team. The first thing you want to do is get a goal. And
that'll sort of settle her down too. She's got a notch on the belt now, so it should be right.
I believe she also came from the Eastern Suburbs as well as our last signing, Charlie Phillips.
Yep.
So hopefully they'll be able to, sort of help each other settle into the squad, though I think Charlie's done that pretty well already.
Yeah, but, at the moment, Charlie's injured. I'm not too sure when she's due back. You hear various talk whether she's going to be back 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, I'm not too sure. But obviously, Charlie and Jess have played together.
Yep.
So they have that synchronicity.
Yep.
And know each other's game fairly well, so it could work well.
Yeah, and I believe Jess was actually the top goal scorer in the under-23s NPL.
Absolutely.
So she comes down with a large weight of probably expectation, I guess, but that's still a little bit unfair to her because she still needs to settle into a squad.
Exactly right, yeah.
And she's gone straight into the point end because, we've got the Cup Pro Series semi-final coming up, which we'll talk about in a second.
That'd be great.
But goals as well for Georgia Muir, Lawrence Spreadborough, which, getting in on the act there.
Yeah.
A couple for Eve Swain, Sarah Daly, Sophia Cuba, and Tess Buzzo. So it was just an all-round team affair, really.
It seems to be like that way all the time.
Yeah.
8-0, I think the score was a bit flattering. I think it could have been worse.
It sounds really harsh, but it does feel like we got into second gear and just sort of cruised, and the goals we scored were just
girls didn't go into top tier whatsoever. They knew what they had to do. They knew what they were facing. They knew they had the quality to go ahead. I think they took it easy. I think we were up by the solitary or a couple of goals at the end of the first half.
I think it was 2 or 3 by memory.
But it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
And then we just sort of think, we'll better finish it off.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very, I think we've used the term before, specifically for like Ipswich Knights. It was a very professional.
It was. They had a job to do and they've done it well.
Performance,
I think, as we mentioned coming over tonight, Moreton City, I watched the highlights of the game the other day on FQ TV. And there was a 76th and 83rd minute highlight only for Moreton City.
Yeah.
So they really did struggle.
Yeah, and that was only again they tested us those 2 times and that was about it.
That was it.
Otherwise, it was business as usual. Very incisive performance from our girls who are just putting their foot down and really trying to get back into that ruthless gear, gearing up for this weekend's semi-final.
I think it was a nice prelude to it all because the girls clicked. The passing was good. The goal scoring was good.
Yep.
We backed each other up really well. And as you said, and we just come into the team.
And it almost felt instinctual. A lot of the things that we started doing and the goals that we were scoring almost felt instinctual. It didn't feel like we were forcing it. It didn't feel like we were trying to put Moreton City into a certain position. We were playing our game very naturally, and the goals just kept coming.
Very free-flowing.
Yeah.
Very free-flowing.
Which, as you said before, puts us in a lovely stead for the Kappa Pro Series semi-final. Absolutely massive game against Kappa. Unfortunately, at Kappa at John Fredericks Park. Very hard place to go to, as we found out last time. This is at 5:30 p.m. on the 28th of June, so that is this Saturday upcoming. Revenge on the cards for us, of course, as we mentioned before, going down 2-0 last time to a very early and a very late goal. Somewhere in between there, we also conceded 2 red cards.
Yeah.
It was
kind of a night to forget.
It was, and I've been trying to, but it has sort of haunted me a little bit. And this game particularly has made me a little bit nervous because of the last game.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be tough. I mean, I'm not going to deny it's going to be a tough one, and our girls will have to be right up there to counter this one. But I think I've never seen the girls play to that level this season like they did against Kappa. They just didn't seem to click or gel.
Yeah.
And I think they've learned their lesson from that. Last couple of games they've played very, very well. So I don't see it being too much of an issue. I think I can almost see that going into extra time.
Yeah. Because Kappa has sort of listed themselves as a team that's going to be very, very hard to score against. They've tried to really pack their defense. They've got a really, really good striker up front. As we've said before, it's not the tactics that I would prefer, but this is the beautiful game. We have, there's no wrong tactics really, unless you're injuring people.
That's it.
So but the tactics they've got, they're doing so well at. They've really figured out their tactic.
Yeah.
And you can see they're going backwards. They've got only one loss in their last 5 across all competitions, and it's an understandable one. So it's 6-0 win over Moreton City, the 2-0 win against us, the 2-1 win against Southwest Queensland Thunder, the 4-0 loss against NPL team Brisbane City in the Queensland Cup, and then the 1-0 win over Grange. The thing that jumps out at me most of this is really, apart from that Moreton City game, they were all really tight games.
Yeah.
That they managed to squeeze a win through. And I watched the Kappa Grange game, and they weren't
great. I watched that game. No,
Kappa weren't great.
I think I made the comment to you. I was watching the game, and I thought, is this a different Kappa side?
Yeah.
Because they was nowhere near as ruthless as they played against us. Now, whether they thought, and no disrespect to any other team in the league, it's Grange.
So you said that Grange is sitting 4th at the moment.
Sitting 4th at the moment. So, but I thought Grange were really unlucky to concede too.
Yeah, they were. The goal that
it was a set piece.
It was a set piece. It was a corner. The goal that they did concede was very unlucky.
Really unlucky for Grange. Up until that point, I thought they were playing really good football. Yeah.
And, as we mentioned before, Kappa's obviously got this reputation about them now that they do pack their defense quite tightly.
Yeah, and you're going to work hard for it. A 4-0 loss to Brisbane City sounds on paper business as usual. 3 of those were from corners or something. Yeah.
Brisbane City still had to really work hard and take their chances when they got them.
That's it.
So that gap, we've been talking about the 3-horse race in the FQPL1, and then everyone else, even Grange sitting in 4th at the moment.
Yep.
That gap isn't that far away from NPL, and it's almost going to be a shame that only 2 of us can go up at the end of the year.
Yeah, it will be a shame, yeah. You're not wrong.
But so this is obviously going to be a very, very tight affair. They haven't lost in the league yet. They've played 1 less game than us, and by virtue of that, they are sitting 2nd.
Yep.
So 8 wins, 1 draw, 26-4, 5 against.
Hell of a record,
It's a hell of a record, and I think we have a fairly similar one, but still, it's they've worked out their tactics, and they've worked out quite well.
Talk about Clash of the Titans this weekend.
Yeah, exactly right. Not a massive fan that they've got the home ground advantage, man, because it's a really difficult place to go.
I'd love to beat at home
historically.
But that's the draw. We have to live with it, put up with it, and go and meet it head on.
Yeah, exactly right. And one can only hope we don't get that referee again.
Yeah, I hope he's been knocked down to, say, under 11s or something.
Yeah, that might be Maury's level.
Yeah, I think so.
We're not trying to say that the referee was the sole reason for the defeat last time, but wow.
No, I mean,
we
discussed that. He had no idea. Both sides were just getting some ridiculous decisions. I think we spoke just after the game where he gave that back pass.
Yeah, the back
against Kappa. I'm going, that wasn't a back pass.
Don't get me wrong, it was for Olympics, so I was hoping we get something, but the defenders stuck their boot out.
Yeah.
Blocked the cross of shot, and it's gone to the keeper. And it's not.
I mean, so that was the level of his skill.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, man.
Yeah. But, I think we've got a lot of momentum. We've got a lot of confidence moving in. We've got a couple more signings.
Yeah.
Even though Charlie's currently out injured, I think when she did come in, she brought a little bit of composure and a little bit of, just extra touches and
flair.
Yeah.
As well.
She started doing it, and almost like the rest of the girls went, oh, I can do that too. And they started doing it. We noticed that Georgia and a few other people were pulling those sorts of off, those turns and touches and things like that. So if we
in the right moment, those turns look damn good.
Oh, they do. They do. And they can really unlock. There's a video running around on, I believe, Olympic FC's TikTok at the moment of Charlie receiving the ball, quick turn, past two players, off she goes.
See you later.
So, and hopefully we can grab onto that momentum, move forward.
I think we said that once before too, because a player like that can inspire other players.
Yes, definitely.
There's no harm in that whatsoever.
No, it can only be better for the entire playing group.
Yeah.
But after a fantastic result against Caboolture and North Lakes, I think we're in a really good spot, and this is a game that you cannot miss.
No, please get down there.
Please get down there.
Every second of it.
You'll support the girls. They really deserve the support. They've been playing absolutely out of their skins all season long. So definitely come and join us. Yep. You'll see us. We'll have the banner and the flags going.
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely don't miss this game.
Yeah, no, be a ripper.
All right. Do we want to talk any more about Jess Curran?
I don't know too much about Jess. I was very, very impressed with her forward play. I thought she held the ball well. She some great runs. Very unlucky at times.
Yeah, I think she was definitely getting herself in the right positions and just things. Maybe because as we mentioned, the game was very much business as usual for us. It almost felt like we were in a certain flow. It almost couldn't include Jess because she was so new.
Correct.
So we were in a flow of obviously a state before Jess.
Yes.
And then we had to play with Jess, and Jess got herself about, and she did get herself in a couple of good positions.
I was impressed with her.
Yeah, and like I said, eventually she did get that goal from the penalty. I was really happy that Cuba passed on the ball.
For sure, that was a very, very good thing to do.
It was a very, very lovely thing to do.
Hats off to you, Cuba. It was brilliant.
And again, as a striker, you don't care if it goes off your butt. You just want to get that first one out of your way in your new jersey. So
get the monkey off your back.
Yeah, exactly right. So hopefully Jess can now sort of suit up in...
Yeah. No, I was very impressed with her. I was very impressed with her, yeah.
Cool. So we will kick off with the second half. Alrighty. So in the men, the Gold Coast United won Olympic 2. This was a very, very interesting game because we sort of did what most teams do to us.
Yeah.
We came out, we were 1-0 down into the first half. Then came out in the second half, first 15 minutes, bang, bang.
Yep.
2-1 up, held it, controlled it, won it.
Yeah.
Like
what a scrappy game.
Was a scrappy game.
It was terrible.
We did have, I think, a couple of moments early first half when we were very early first half where we really had control, then we sort of let it slip. Another defensive lapse, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think, too, it was a hot afternoon.
It was.
Compared to most days we played. It was a warm afternoon. I don't think the pitch is good for football.
No, it
looked like it hadn't been in water for 6 months.
We will not be the first people to complain about that pitch this season. It was a
shocking pitch. And it just wasn't made for good football.
No.
Everything about it.
Yeah, I think, we can sit there and go, oh, the weather, but it's the same for both teams.
Yeah.
But it is. It going through such a rainy period, such a cold period.
And some cool nights.
Some cool windy nights. To suddenly a hot Sunday afternoon.
It was a really unusual day. It was a beautiful day.
It was that was such a gorgeous day for football. But
wow, it
must have been so difficult because your bodies get used to a certain type of atmosphere that you're playing in, and then suddenly it changes up completely.
Yeah. But credit to the lads, they dug deep.
They did. It was a very, very resilient performance from the lads. They tried to make sure that the game didn't fall out of their grasp. Yep. And they did obviously succeed that in the end, and a couple of goals from Lath and Jack Hudson got us the win in the end.
Yeah, Jack's making a note of that.
Yeah, he has actually. he's put in a couple away, isn't he? And I think we were talking on the way home from Gold Coast United, especially Louis Greenwood.
Oh,
Louis Greenwood has played out of his skin, and he's probably our man of the match for the Sunshine Coast game as well. But we'll get to that in a second.
He was like a man possessed in that Gold Coast game. He controlled the midfield. He held the ball. He passed it well.
And he's playing a little bit higher than he usually plays. He's usually a fullback, but he's been playing as that's another 6 in there, I think, due to the absence of Fumi Sono.
Yep.
But he seems to really relish that position, being a little bit higher up.
he seems to have so much more freedom too. But he's also a very powerful guy.
Yeah,
who can hold the ball well and run with the ball well, and he just knocks defenders off him.
And he's intelligent. He's got such a really good footballing mind that he knows when to put his body in the way and try to win that foul, or when to try to slip away from it, or even when to commit a foul. But do it in a way that's not going to get him yellow carded.
And you can see the focus in his eyes.
Yeah,
this is a man who wants to do well. Yeah, and he's won me.
Yeah, and he's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. He's such a good signing. But yeah, like I said, he's probably our man of the match for the Sunshine Coast Wanderers game. So moving on from a team against a game against the southernmost NPL team, we went straight to a game against the northernmost NPL team. At least this time, it was at Goodwin Park. Rain, of course, creating havoc on this season, forced this game to a midweek fixture, which is a little bit unfortunate, a little bit difficult for Sunny Coast as well, considering it's a long way to travel midweek. And to be fair, they made it very difficult for us.
Oh, extremely. I mean, pumped a lot of balls forward.
Yeah.
There was no interplay. There was no playing through the line. It was like, bang, go chase it.
Yeah. And
that was the whole 90 minutes. And when they played, probably with a back six at times, you couldn't get through. And when we did get the ball into that 6-yard area, there was like 8 or 9 players there.
Yeah. And we did swing the ball in a couple of good times. I think there was one particular went to our new boy Chris Lucas, but like sort of just past him or went between his legs or something. I'm not entirely sure. I can't quite remember in the moment.
His legs were about 6 inches longer. We might have got that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just small little moments like that when we had so much control of this match.
Yeah.
And it almost feels, I think I said to you after the match, it almost feels like a little bit poetic.
Yeah.
Because in the first round, we would have bit your hand off if you'd given us a 0-0.
Oh, God, yes.
And we won that 2-0. This game, we spent so much of the game with that controlling force trying to get that goal ahead, and we just couldn't get there. And
got nothing out of it.
Got absolutely nothing out of it.
But, debuts to Cameron.
Yep. Lachlan Duke.
Yep.
New keeper. First game, first clean sheet.
Yeah, clean sheet. So hats off to them.
And Chris Lucas.
Yeah, so Chris played well. He made use of himself. He ran well. Again, it'll take him time to settle into the Olympic way of playing.
Yep.
Obviously, he's come from a different coaching perspective down at the Gold Coast, so they may do things different to what our gaffer does. But I think give him time. I think give him a couple of matches. I think you'll see something really special from him.
And if any of those names sound familiar, it's because both Cameron Annis-Wade and Chris Lucas used to don the red and white.
They did.
Some many years ago. Cameron went over to England and France, I believe, to get a little bit more. We've actually spoken already about the Cameron transfer. But he made his full senior debut tonight.
Yeah. So welcome home, lads.
Welcome home. And Chris Lucas spent a lot of his time in Gold Coast United playing as a right winger.
Yeah.
So I think even that shift going back to the central striker, which is where we probably need him more. And we've mentioned this a couple of times, I think mostly off camera, because I love Daniel. Like, he's so good. But because he drops so deep, it's hard to make him that center point of our attack because then there's that gap missing.
Absolutely.
I think Chris Lucas will help us unlock a little bit in that, because Daniel Leck then has that free roam ability.
Correct.
He can come all the way back, he can move forward, but we've still got that central point up front.
And Luke can control the ball. And he has to control the ball in that midfield section, as you said, or that bottom of that diamond. And he can just go bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And that's where he's so good.
Yeah.
He's a good runner, he's got a powerful shot. He's almost a complete player.
Yeah, he is.
He really is. What he can do is just awesome.
And we saw glimpses tonight, again, that ball across, I believe, from Lath that went through Chris Lucas's legs or just around. So we saw glimpses of what this is going to look like. I'm excited. Very soon. I'm very excited as well.
It was a frustrating game. It was a shitty game. Pardon my French. But I'm excited for the next few games.
Yeah, if this is the beginning, I think it's going to be an absolutely really beautiful beginning.
I think so
and it's going to really blossom into something.
For sure.
Cool. So looking forward, this is going to be a team that we're going to spend a fair amount of time talking about very, very soon. We are looking forward at the moment to the Brisbane City game at Goodwin Park this Sunday at 6 p.m. long-awaited fixture, considering this was meant to be played in April.
Yep.
Again, due to rescheduled fixtures and rains and everything like that. But two very proud NPL teams, both have met their troubles over the recent years and everything like that. But still an absolutely fantastic cross-river derby, Greeks versus Italians.
Mouth-watering, isn't it?
You know, Souvlaki versus Woodfire Pizza. You know, Mythos versus Peroni. However you want to face these two off, it is going to be an absolute incredible clash.
Bumper game.
Last time, so we played them obviously twice in the league. Last time we beat them both times 4-0 over Panegyri weekend at their home, and then 3-1 on the last day of the league at home last season. So last time we played them, which does seem like a really long time ago now, we did really well.
Yeah, had the wood over them.
Yeah. This season, why I said that this is going to be a team that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about is, if you aren't aware, not only are we playing them as the remaining, like the return fixture in the league, we have been drawn against them in the Queensland Cup. That is away. We don't know the dates just yet. So that'll be in Imperial Cup Stadium. But we have also got the Australia Cup draw.
Which was
conducted tonight. And it was drawn away against Brisbane City. So suddenly we have to play Brisbane City 4 times within a couple of months.
I'm already over. I haven't played them yet.
Yeah, I know. So we'll go further into this game, and then we'll get onto the Australia Cup stuff a little bit, and we'll announce who the other Queensland teams got. But Brisbane City are in a little bit of a wavy, little bit of hot and cold.
Form's not great.
Draw, win, loss at the moment. So a 0 draw against Wynnum Wolves, which was interesting because Wynnum Wolves have sort of come off that and done really, really well.
Yeah, haven't they?
A 5-2 victory over Eastern Suburbs. That was a really, really random one. I remember sort of watching the scoreline go through.
Of late.
Yeah. 2-0 loss to Gold Coast United. A 1-0 win over Logan Lightning, where they left it late in the Queensland Cup. And then a 5-2 loss to Gold Coast Knights.
Yeah.
So 5-2 win here, 5-2 loss there. Currently in 8th position, having played the equal most games over other teams, with only 4 wins to show from that. So, bit of a rough time to be a Brisbane City fan.
I think it is a bit of a rough time for them. Very proud club. Probably
Extremely.
Not used to where they are. That would certainly hurt them. Yeah. But hey, look, if you can't play, you can't play. If you can't get the points on the board.
Yeah, exactly right. And they have had, I think they had a recent goalkeeper and striker go down injured for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
They did also sign Corey Brown. So that's a pretty big name coming down from Brisbane Roar.
Yeah, did he get sent off?
He did get sent off, I think, in his second game. Yeah. And he sat out the Logan Lightning game. Yeah. So he's obviously done his suspension. But, another very, very good face, someone who's been around the A-League for a very long time. Very talented lad coming down. But we'll also be playing Nathan Beagley.
Yes.
Who used to don the red and white up until last year.
I hope we don't play Nathan Beagley. I like Biggs.
I do like
really
Biggs.
Good bloke.
He was someone that
he's a gentleman.
Yeah, we did get a lot of conversations with and things like that. A lovely person. Again, unfortunately, he did make the switch to the Italian side, but you've got to look after your own interests, of course.
Of course, that's what football's all about. You're going to go where you can get the games or get the time. So, good luck with him.
Yeah, exactly right. And now we're just not going to shake him.
No.
For a little bit.
No.
And if you missed it, the Australia Cup draw was tonight. We can confirm that Penn Power has been drawn against Western Sydney Wanderers. Gold Coast Knights have been drawn against Auckland, which I think is going to be an incredible game.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a great game.
That's going to be a really, really good game. And, of course, we've been drawn against Brisbane City away. Yeah. So, very, very interesting round for the Queensland Cubs. It's 2 A-League teams and then 2 teams from the same division.
Same Ville, yeah.
So it should be interesting matches, and I definitely implore you to get down to at least one of them, especially if you're not a supporter of any of those teams. Definitely get down to one of them just to see some really good football.
Enjoy some football, yeah, exactly right.
It's something that you and I have done for a very, very long time. Yes. If there's a game that's on, that doesn't clash with an Olympic game, of course, we've gone down. And I think we actually got pictured in a Moreton City Excelsior Couple of photos when they put up when they versus Campbelltown.
Yeah.
You can go back through the social medias and you see us right there.
Yeah, with our Olympic jackets on.
Wearing our Olympic jacket.
But so no dates or times has been announced at this stage.
No dates or times been announced.
Keep an eye out for that. So that should be on the Australia Cup website.
Yep.
And possibly on the Football Queensland.
Yeah, Football Queensland
TV
should announce them as well.
Announce that once they get confirmation of that.
But yeah, because both Penn Power and Gold Coast Knights are playing A-League clubs, they get the hosting duties.
Yep.
And yeah, Brisbane Roar. They're not in it. Brisbane City, obviously, we're drawn first against Olympic, so that's a nice and easy one to get to. But that is one. Obviously, we'll do a little bit more when we get there. But that is one that every person who considers himself an Olympic fan should be getting to that game.
Hey guys, let's pack that stadium and let's make that concrete stadium rock.
Yeah, let's absolutely make sure that we break it down. They've got to rebuild it after we're there.
I want noise that you'll make you go deaf.
Yep, everything, drums, just cheering, chants.
I think if we can get some good support there, I think that'll just be
the boys will ride that high.
And as I say, in a lot of clubs in Europe, they'll be our 12th man.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, I want 500 minimum.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's show the boys that we care. Let's show the boys that we love them. Let's show the boys that what it means to support.
Yep, and get them through to the round of 16.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you at the games.
Take care of yourselves.
All right, bye.